listening to Reality Wrap. I'm your host, Melanie. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Hey guys, hope you guys are all doing great out there. Thanks for tuning into Reality Wrap. Mr. Sean is with me today.
Hey everyone, how are we doing tonight?
We had another really good episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills last night. Today we're going to be recapping Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 14, Episode 2.
In this week's episode, we're going to play Where in the World is Garcelle Bouvet?
Yeah, she was not in this episode except for when she was on the phone with somebody. Sutton, maybe?
Another cast member, yes.
Yeah, I guess she was out of town filming. I felt like it was a little reminiscent of Candy from The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Her very last season, it was like she was always doing something else other than filming for Atlanta.
Yeah.
She was just too busy. She ended up leaving.
Yep.
Anyway, so last night, the episode, we are still with Dorit and Kyle talking at Sutton's surreal party. Kyle claims that the reason she said that she and Dorit weren't really close on her Amazon Live was because she was upset about Dorit joking that Kathy wasn't her number one Richard sister after Kyle had spilled the drink on her, which was clearly a joke. And Dorit even says that. She was like, I was joking. We used to be able to do that, you know?
It was a joke.
It was totally a joke. Dorit's like, yeah, that's bullshit. I think you're mad because on Watch What Happens Live, I said that after Morgan came along, I felt like you and I were not as close as we were.
Ding.
And that after she had said that, Kyle went on to Amazon Live and retaliated.
Yep.
Yeah.
That seems more logical.
I loved how Dorit was just so matter-of-factly with Kyle. Like she was...
It's Dorit 2.0.
It is, she really does not care. She's like, I'm done
She even
tiptoeing
said
around.
it. She said, I'm smoking cigarettes. I'm in the middle of a divorce. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Dorit tells her that a real friend would have come to her and say, hey, this really hurt my feelings or whatever, but instead Kyle iced her out for months and didn't talk to her.
Yeah.
Kyle uses the excuse that she was struggling, and that is why she stopped talking to Dorit. And Dorit's like, yeah, just because you're struggling doesn't mean you treat your friends badly. And Kyle, the way her face, at one point she like has this overreaction, like, how dare you say that to me? Kyle tells her, the last 2 years were the hardest of my life. You should give me some grace. And Dorit's like, I did give you grace, but that's over now. And I was like, also, wasn't Dorit really struggling for the last couple of years because she was held up at gunpoint in her house with her children in the next room?
And apparently now we know that there was a drinking problem that she was dealing with and being quiet about as well.
Yeah. Kyle gets up and walks away like she always does during a confrontation when she doesn't know how to react and somebody's holding her feet to the fire.
She doesn't like it, yeah.
No. I did a poll on Instagram this morning asking who was responsible for the demise of Kyle and Dorit's not so close friendship. And your options were Kyle, she's a user, Dorit, she's not supportive, or both were equally as responsible. And so far, we are at 80% think it's Kyle's fault and that she's a user.
I'm with the 80%.
7% think it's Dorit, that she's not supportive, and 13% it's both of them equally.
I definitely think Dorit has some blame, but not equally. See, and that's where I would have to then lean towards
Kyle. It is interesting how Dorit says that Kyle kind of has different rules that she follows versus what she expects everybody else to follow. And if you don't do or say or follow her rules, she just stops talking to you.
And she's okay to break her own rules. Yeah. It's the rules for the situation.
Yeah,
much,
exactly.
Which is annoying after a while. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and especially if
fair.
They were close. And she even said it when she was talking about how she was upset with Dorit with the BravoCon thing. She's like, we went up there like besties. And I'm like, well, which one is it then? Are you besties? Or are you not so close like you said on Amazon Live?
Right. Is she just being convenient with the language that's available to her?
Exactly. That's exactly what she's doing. Yeah. She's twisting things to fit whatever it is she's trying to express.
Yeah. She was a little slippery last night.
Yeah.
With the looks and the head turns. She's trying to evoke emotion. And, Dorit was just not having it.
No. And I'm all for it.
I'm all for it. Yeah. I was like, it's a new Dorit.
It's not the new Dorit. This was the real Dorit that came on her very first season. If I can smell your breath, you're standing too close. Or whatever she said to Lisa Rinna.
Did she?
Yeah, you don't remember that? Oh my God, it was awesome. Dorit tells us in her talking head that she's fed up. She's fed up in her marriage and she's fed up in her friendship and she's not taking it anymore. We now get to know Boz a little bit more. We find out that she's been in the corporate world for 25 years. She's been given all kinds of accolades over her career. She's now retired from the corporate world and is now working for herself.
Yeah, she's no joke, man.
Yeah. We also learned that she was married to a white Irish guy named Peter, and they had a daughter together, but sadly he died when she was 4, so she grew up without her father. We now get Kyle and Sutton, who are meeting up for a drink now that they've worked out everything from last season. And they're talking about Kyle's marriage and what's going on with Mo. And Sutton tells Kyle, you need to file for divorce.
Yeah, and Kyle really needs to do that, because I'm telling you, that whole good feelings and he said stuff on interviews, that's not going to hold up anywhere.
Yeah, so Kyle tells her that she owns half of the agency, that it's half hers, but then goes on to say that Mo talks about in his book how everything he has is due to her. And I actually thought she was part owner of the agency.
Contractually.
But now hearing her explain it, he said it in a book and he says it in interviews.
She's relying on California law and hope. And hope is not a strategy.
I actually thought she was part owner.
I know. Sutton was given sound advice yesterday.
I agree. And so I went out and I started kind of doing a little research. And I found out that Mo is the only one listed as the founder and CEO of the agency. She's not listed anywhere on anything. So I get it now, because they're married for so long. Does that mean she gets half of the agency? Sutton seems to think otherwise, because she's like, I thought
Sutton's
the same
like,
thing.
why chance it?
Well, and then she's like, I went through this. I thought the same thing, and that was not the case. I think that's why she's trying to give her advice. You need to file.
Sutton did okay, though.
I know, right? $350,000
not really the poster child for poverty.
A month. It's crazy.
I don't want to judge.
No. Erika and Dorit go over to Boz's house, which is awesome. Her backyard is like this oasis. I was like, this woman definitely has money for sure. And it's all like, she made it herself.
And she's kind of like pretty down to earth for having some.
Yeah, she is. Well, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. She's kind of in the business world.
Great first impressions.
Yeah.
Sure.
Erika asks what she thinks about everybody. Boz tells her, well, before Sutton's party, Sutton was over at my house and she explained that there were issues between Kyle and Dorit and that it was going to be awkward. Dorit tells her that Kyle isolated her. And Boz is like, why is she mad at you? And Dorit tells her, well, she keeps giving me different answers. First, she was mad about me supporting Kathy when we were at a reunion. Then she said she was mad about the joke at BravoCon about Kathy being her favorite sister, which again is funny because if Kyle really meant that she and Dorit weren't really as close friends as Dorit said they were, then why would she care if Dorit joked that Kathy was her favorite sister?
Yeah, I
mean, pick a lane, Kyle. It's one or the other. You were either
Kyle's
close
is looking
or you
for
weren't.
something. Like, she's looking for something egregious to hang on to so she can say, well, I was hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If she didn't really think their friendship was that tight, then why would she care?
I also think Kyle's real fake.
Yeah, I think she's full of shit. Boz tells Dorit that she saw Kyle stomp off, and Dorit tells her, I think she expected me to feel bad for her, and in turn for me feeling bad for her, I would get over being mad at her, but I didn't do that this time. I feel like Kyle has 2 sets of rules, one for her and one for everybody else.
Rules for thee.
Yep.
So did you notice, Boz, when the ladies were at her house, the way she was paying attention to them, her heightened level of awareness on everything Dorit was saying, just the way she was just watching her, it was impressive. Boz is going to be interesting to watch this season for sure. Very smart, my goodness.
Well, yeah, she didn't get to where she was because she's not smart, that's for sure. She's very intelligent, and that's probably where her laser focus comes from.
Yo, man.
Paying attention to what somebody's actually saying instead of just being like nodding and then being
things,
somewhere else in your head, which is
like,
what I do.
Or saying things like,
yeah.
Just to get through.
Who says and yeah? I don't know.
Melanie.
Erika asks Dorit how it's going between her and PK, and she tells them that it's been a rough couple of years. Boz asks her what the kids think, and she tells them that the kids just think that he's working because they're used to PK being gone a lot. We find out that when PK would drink, they would get into a fight, and he would leave for weeks. And I was like, how could he leave his kids for that long?
I don't know.
8 and 10, like those are years you kind of need to be.
If half what we're learning about PK is true, this is really a good thing for the family then, because he's terrible.
Right? Yeah, clearly he's kind of checked out.
He's narcissistic. He's selfish as all get out.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
I think Dorit can do better.
In the after show, Kyle, we're talking about, that's not how I would do it. I don't know. I think they should tell the kids. And I'm like, Kyle, you told your kids you were leaving Mo on TV and then filmed all of them crying. So... I was like, you really have no room to talk, Kyle.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the way they're going about it until they figure out exactly what's going on. If they already think he works a lot and he's gone all the time.
So if she's of the opinion that they might get back together, but
which I think she is.
But he's of the opinion that they're not going to get back
which
together.
I think he is.
Then basically they both need to be on the same landing pad.
Yeah,
right. And
but they're not.
Once they're at a certain point where they agree, I think then they
tell the kids. I agree, and I think that's what she actually says. Like once we figure out like what's going to happen, then we'll let them know. She also did say in the after show that if her kids were to come to her and ask questions, that she would be honest with them and tell them. But at this point,
they're pretty young.
8 and 10. I think a 10-year-old could figure out what's going on. Absolutely. If they were fighting to the point where he was screaming and they were screaming and he would just leave, they heard that.
That's true.
So they've got to maybe already know. I don't know.
Maybe.
But she did say if they were to ask, she would tell them. Back with Sutton and Kyle, they're also talking about what happened between her and Dorit. And Kyle says that she pulled away from Dorit because of the things that she's been doing. And that Dorit hasn't been a good friend to her. Again, if you guys weren't really close friends, like, why do you care?
I'm just not picking up what Kyle's putting down on this.
No, I know.
Kyle's having a real tough time with taking accountability.
Yeah.
Real tough time right now.
Yeah.
And yet, with the whole Mo situation, I honestly think she's doing really well there. Because, she's learning to be by herself. That stuff's all normal, right?
Well, she has no choice.
Right. Well, and I think...
She has no choice. Mo moved out. She was looking to stop him.
True, but I think,
her kids moved out. She can't stop them.
Yeah. I don't think she's going to be sitting on that bed reading a book for very long. I think she's going to...
You think she's... I don't know. Well, I think Morgan's in her bed already.
Well, there's that. Okay. My point, though, was before Morgan gets into the bed, I think she's going to fill her day up with activities. And now that she doesn't have Mo, she's going to replace Mo with other new things.
Well, they were already not hanging out for like the last couple of years.
But
remember last season, they weren't really together. She's like, we never see each other anyway. And that's why she was working out 3 hours a day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Sutton asks her if she misses Dorit. And she says, no, I'm too mad at Dorit. And I'm like, realistically, what exactly are you so angry at Dorit for? Other than her saying the thing about, her and I used to be close, but when Morgan came along.
That felt displaced.
Why isn't she so angry at Garcelle for being like, are you or are you not with Morgan? She didn't seem to care about that.
I think she's mad at Mo. And some of that is displaced onto other people like Dorit.
Maybe.
Or maybe Mo and Dorit tapped and, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Now, I don't think they did while they were together. Now, could I see it maybe happening after? Who knows?
Mo and Dorit, their own show.
Oh my God, what a season that would be.
That would be crazy.
That would be so crazy.
And then PK shows up.
Oh, I know. There were some people who were like, oh, Kyle and PK text all the time and talk all the time. I'm like, okay, give me a break. So Kyle like she's going to go from Mo
with like a bottle of wine and a baby outfit at Kyle's house, and she just shuts the door and turns the lights out.
Why is he in a baby outfit? Like a diaper?
He's weird, He's weird.
Oh my God, that's so strange.
He's weird. Like a Happy New Year outfit.
Oh my God, yeah. Over at Sutton's, she and Avi are getting ready for a PJ and pizza surprise party that she, Kathy, and Erika are going to do for Kyle since she's feeling lonely since Mo has moved out. Erika and Kathy arrive, and Sutton tells them about how she had spoken to Kyle, and Kyle had told her that Mo had taken down a picture of them together that was in his office, which wasn't a big deal, but he replaced it with a picture of him and his dancing partner from Dancing with the Stars, which we all know that there was all kinds of rumors swirling around about those two hooking up. There was like video of them holding hands in a parking lot.
That's why you get a divorce.
I also kind of wonder if Mo did it as kind of an F you to Kyle because of all the photos in the press of her and Morgan. And she did that video where her and Morgan were pretending to be together, insinuating that they were a thing. Certainly he's not so obtuse that he didn't see that it was a problem.
Right.
Putting that photo up after he had taken down a photo of them together. I feel like he almost did it on purpose.
So there's passive aggressive. This feels actively aggressive.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of like, if you're going to be out there strutting around with Morgan, I'm going to put this up.
Yeah,
and
I mean, the only thing he could have done worse was to let the original photo up but cut Kyle out.
Yeah, like
so
put
just
somebody
him,
else's head
and then
in
there's
it.
like a wood wall behind it, you know, yeah.
Erika tells us that Tom had done the same thing to her when Tom was having an affair on her. I guess he had a photo of, I think it's a judge that he was having an affair with. And he had a photo of her.
So she must have intellectually stimulated.
They head over to Kyle's with a plan to tell Kyle that they're from Amazon. And they're driving in the car and they're like, okay, okay, Kathy, give us your best Amazon voice. And she's like, Amazon.
Yeah.
She's so funny.
That was funny.
Also, I never realized, I've never noticed the side profile of Kathy before. Her eyes have been pulled back
pulled back, and it looks like she shaved her eyebrows off and drew new ones on 3 inches above the old. She did look
kind of crazy last night.
She looked inquisitive all day long. Yeah, she was very surprised.
I had never noticed her profile before, but like she's very pulled back in her eyes.
Well, let's leave Monster alone.
No, I'm not saying she looked bad. I just didn't realize.
I love Monster. She's great.
Yeah. They ring the bell and Kathy tells her that there's a package from Amazon. I couldn't tell if Kyle knew it was really them and like this was kind of like a bit, because I thought she kind of smirked when she was on the phone.
It felt like a bit.
Yeah, I felt like it was a bit too. Anyway, so she opens the gate after wrangling all of her dogs.
Did Monster seem drunk to you last night? Like a little in the limo on the ride?
Yeah, she was definitely like, maybe she had a cocktail before she went. I don't know.
Maybe she made another $1 billion.
Yeah, it could be. So they get into the PJs that Kathy brought and they make pizza and Kyle thanks them for doing this for her. Sutton tells her, we know that you're going through a really hard time now that Mo has moved out. And she tells them that she was looking at their wedding photos and how young they were. And Kathy makes a comment about Mo aging, how he was on Instagram in the gym with no shirt on, which I was kind of like, well, who cares? Because Kyle was doing the same thing on Instagram in her skimpy little workout outfits. She was always showing herself working out in the gym. So I'm like, who cares if he put himself on Instagram working out? She did the same thing.
Yeah, I don't care that either of them did it.
I don't either. Sutton and Erika tell her.
They both look great.
They do. Kyle really looks amazing. I mean, her body is...
I wouldn't want to look like Kyle.
Tidy. Okay. Sutton and Erika tell her to be ready because they both went through divorces and they know what it's like. You think it's going to be okay,
it's not.
But it ends up not being okay. And Kyle's like, well, we really respect each other. And, you know, he sent me...
So much so that he put the picture of his girlfriend up in his office.
Yeah, right? Like, wait a minute. But he did send her flowers for Mother's Day, which was sweet. Sutton's like, I haven't received flowers in years. And Erika's like, girl, relax. Yeah. You get $350,000 a month. That is insane.
It's over $4 million a year.
Yeah, I wonder for how many years. Is that forever?
Probably the rest of her life.
Damn. That's some serious cash.
She does well.
Yeah.
How well does he do?
I don't know. I think he was like a banker for Barclay or no, maybe that was Diana Jenkins' ex-husband. I don't know. I can't remember what he does, but he's rich. Kyle tells us at her talking head that her family and marriage are different from everybody else's and that she's not expecting any issues. Yeah, Kyle, because everybody thinks that. Your family is no different than everybody else's. Yeah. When you guys have that much money that you have to split, could get ugly.
It will get ugly.
Also, now that we know that she's actually not owner of the agency, I wonder if she's dragging her heels because she's waiting for the agency to open more offices. Because California, it is half, right? Plus, they've been married for 30 years.
So if he were smart, he would start
it.
A new corporation offshore.
Or something.
And does that.
Yeah.
It's not an asset.
She's convinced, though, that like it's going to be 50-50, which it probably will be because they've been married for 30 years and she lives in the state of California. Right?
Yeah, or maybe what he does is he says, you own half the business, but you don't get the cash out. It's just you're an owner.
Yeah.
Right? And then on that one,
maybe he has to buy her out? I don't know.
He either has to buy her out or, I don't know.
If her name's not on the business, though, then she only gets half of what the money is in the bank, right?
I think she
or
gets
assets
half of
or
his
whatever.
Net worth.
Oh,
all
okay.
Of it. So that would include the business, all of it. And he gets half of hers. right? And they put it all
Well,
together.
yeah, and that's why Sutton's like, anything you're making now, he's going to get. And I'm like,
He sure will.
What is she doing?
Well,
I think he makes way more money than her. I'd be like, you can have my little measly crumbs, as Joe Gorga would say. I make the cake, you make the crumbs. Didn't he say that to Melissa once? Or maybe she said that to him. I can't remember.
That would be cool if she said that to him. He kind of makes the rest of us look bad.
Yeah, he does. We are now with PK and Dorit, who are having dinner.
It's not PK, it's PK.
PK.
No, it's PK.
PK?
Nope. It's
PK?
It's not PK, it's PK.
Okay, sorry. We are now with PK and Dorit, who are having dinner so they can talk in relaxed atmosphere. PK shows Dorit his new clothes that he purchased and says, these are my single clothes, or this is single PK.
Single PK.
I was like, oh my God.
Man, he twirled in the middle of the restaurant.
And she was just like, oh, okay. I didn't realize, even though we just made the announcement 24 hours ago, you've already bought new single clothes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think maybe PK's thought he's been single for more than just 24 to 48
I think this
hours.
is just when PK can go public with it.
Public, yeah. I think he's been... Mm-hmm. PK tells her he's kind of skinny at the moment while he's eating French fries. And she's like, you won't be if you keep eating like this. I was like, oh.
And then we're kind of all of a sudden we're feeling sorry for PK.
Oh, wait. It's PK, not PK.
Well, I'm imitating. Imitation's the highest form of flattery.
He tells her that he's feeling a little edgy and that he didn't realize that he was an alcoholic, but that drinking is a symptom, not a cause. I didn't understand that. What does that mean?
So he said drinking is a symptom, not a cause. And then he alludes to the fact that when he stopped drinking, he realized he didn't want to be with her anymore.
Yeah, he tells her he's very clear now.
So in my mind, she drove him the drink. And when he quit, he realized what was going on.
Oh, you think that's what he meant?
Dude, and then he comes out and says, everything changed. You used to follow me around. You used to be a socialite.
Yeah.
I still want to have fun. All you want to do is raise those kids. And it's like, you had kids. It's temporary.
Oh, I know. He tells her, we don't speak to each other very nicely. If the server came over and we spoke to him the way we speak to each other, we'd be thrown out of the restaurant. And I was like, oh, that's... Yeah. If they're speaking that way to each other, then yeah.
I wasn't too happy with PK last night at all. PK.
Well, but it sounds like he was insinuating that she speaks down to him and that...
Did. No. PK put it all on her.
Yeah. She asks him, do you even like me? And he's like, when you speak to me a certain way, I don't. He tells her, you asked me to stop drinking, and I did, but you have not made any changes yet. And that she goes low very quickly because she knows his buttons and what will set him off. Dorit tells us in her talking head that they went from yelling at each other to hitting below the belt. He tells her that he should be her number one, even before the kids, and that they used to go out together all the time, and now she doesn't. And I'm like, well, somebody's got to stay home and raise the kids, because clearly you leave for weeks on end, so she has to stay behind.
PK is like that.
PK, now you calling him PK? Like puke K?
Yeah.
Puke?
Puke, and then hay, like grass.
Oh, puke.
Puke, hay, puke.
Puke.
Puke, hay, like cool whip, cool, puke, hay.
Cool whip.
Cool whip, puke, hay. So puke, hay is when he said he needed to be put before the kids.
I was like, what?
I was like, I knew it. And we were talking about this last year when he wasn't around.
Yeah,
he wasn't.
I wonder he was gone all the time.
It's like, really, is he working? And now we know. He wasn't. He was drinking, probably doing whatever he was, gallivanting, who knows.
She said he was over there working, didn't she?
Remember, though, she was being quiet about it.
That is true. She was going through all this and she wasn't saying anything.
I honestly think PK is a schmuck.
Yeah, I do too. He tells her that I used to be an entrepreneur and now you make me feel less. And that he's told her this before. And she's like,
no, that's valid.
You never explained it to me like this. It was always you yelling that you're a man and you were angry. And she's like, I never wanted you to feel less than. I didn't mean to make you feel that way.
Right. And we saw a little bit of that when she made the comment that if he keeps eating that way, he's going to be fat.
Right. When
that's
he was
what that is.
Skinny at the moment. Yeah.
That
little digs.
Every dig, it's death by 1,000 cuts. I couldn't imagine having that in my life. I mean, that would be absolute horror. Horror. That person would be a saint.
If just for a little context, guys, Sean accuses me of the same thing.
Accuses, lives through,
whatever.
have witnesses, forensic evidence.
PK tells her that they're still family and she's the mother of his kids, and that if she ever needs him to call him, that she can. And she's like, well, I mean, yeah, we talk 5 times a day already. And he's like, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to break the codependency. And I was like, well, wait a minute, because you were just saying she used to go out with you and it was a good time, and now like you want to break the codependency.
No. So, okay. PK is intentionally confusing because the only thing that's true is that he doesn't want to be with her anymore.
No.
So he needs an excuse, and the excuse is, you're not there for me anymore. I need to be first. You can't make me first. It's not good. And that is just arbitrary. He's just arbitrarily pasting that in to suit his
he's out the door.
Yeah.
And I don't think she realized how out the door he was.
I tell you right now, I think he found someone else. I think he has found someone else, and he's made his decision.
Could be. I mean, he's definitely done, and I get the impression that she's a little blindsided. Like, she knew they were having problems, but she was like, oh, we'll work through it.
Even still, with the amount of time he was spending away from his family, if he met someone, that seems to be kind of what might have happened. Just he is so ready for it to be over, and so suddenly.
He's done.
Right, and it's not like, usually with something like that, where he was at fault. He was the one with the drinking problem. Right? And he's like, well, you're the reason why I had a drinking problem. And it's
you
like,
think that's what he meant when he
exactly
said drinking is, what did he say? Drinking
is a symptom.
Not a cause.
Not a cause. Yep. And I was like,
I didn't know what he meant
said, by that. So because then almost immediately he said, and when I sobered up, I realized you were the problem. I mean, to me,
I guess he said that in a roundabout way. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, like within a few minutes of him saying that, I think he's trying to put us all in Dorit and then justify him basically breaking it off. And then, he's going to see the kids for Happy Christmas and try to make his friends.
I wonder if he's going to move back to London.
Oh, yeah. He's going to move back to London and he's going to send a check.
That's kind of sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah, his kids
are very sad.
Although I guess if they're kind of used to it, I don't know.
That's the thing, though. It's sad in the sense that this has been going on for a long time.
Right.
He's a very selfish person who's been drinking.
Yeah. What was interesting, too, is like after he told her, like, we need to break this codependency, when she's kind of started to talk about her side, he's like, let's go. Like, he was done. Like, he's like, dinner's over. Did you notice that? He cut her off real quick and he was like, okay, bye, honey, and then left.
I don't need Dorit to tell me he's an asshole. I get it.
Yeah.
Right. He's a dick.
But it was like he came to tell his side of the story, and that was it. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't care what she had to say.
No. And I think this season, in just 2 short episodes, I've gained a very different perspective on Dorit.
She sat so quietly.
Yeah. I've been hard on Dorit for 3 years.
Yeah, we have. So then next week, it looks like they're going somewhere on a beach. And then it looks like Dorit and Kyle get in it again. It's going to be interesting.
I'm all for it because, frankly, I mean, Kyle
needs to be taken down a couple of pegs.
I'm a little sick of it.
For sure.
Yeah. And Dorit really needed to kind of save her career in the show.
Yeah.
And I think she's doing great.
She's showing us what's really going on. And that's what I like about this.
So
she's like, I'm done hiding.
Garcelle in the next episode, she's leaving.
Maybe she wants to leave at this point. If she's got her own production company and now she's doing like all these movies, I don't know. Anyways, that's all we have for you guys this week. I'm going to have Salt Lake City out in the next couple of days. I don't know exactly which day, but we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.